Good evening, it's Sue from Snake River Stamping. Welcome to my stamp room today. I have a couple of great cards for you today that I'm really pleased to share with you. First, I have a few announcements, and then we will get rolling as quickly as possible so we can do both cards. The second one's really short, really short. In fact, it's a very batchable card, which is what I've been using it for, and it's sometimes I don't get my lipstick on evenly because I can't feel this side of my face. So, if it looks a little bit clownish, we're going to blame it on the brain tumors, okay? Anyway, the second card is very short. It's batchable. I've been using them to make thank you notes because a bunch of people from church have been bringing us food a couple times a week, and we just so appreciate that. So I've been churning out the cards, and I need something that I can turn over really quickly. So I wanted to share it with you because you can turn it into any kind of card. It's very versatile. The first card's a little bit longer. It's a spanner card, and we will get right to those things because I know you're excited just like I am today. Let me see if I press the right button. Big news, and I've shared this with you before. New catalogs are coming in May. We will get our first set of new catalogs. They're doing no more annual catalog, 3 catalogs a year, just 1 catalog at a time. January through April, May through August, September through December. So our next one comes out in May, and I am ordering my catalogs for my customers this Tuesday. I'm pressing the send button because I have to press the send button by Tuesday to get you your catalogs in April. So make an order and opt in. You have to opt in to get the catalog, to make it so that I can send you any kind of communication, including catalogs. You have to opt in. And if you'll do that, then I will send you a catalog, okay? Free for no money. All right. New magnetic ink pads are coming. They're going to start with the new ink colors. They're not going to do all the colors. They'll gradually phase those in. So no more slip it open, stick your finger in it kind of ink pads. We're going to have the magnetic lids that just open really easily for those of us with arthritis and things. So easy to do this. Retiring colors are for April 2026. Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, and Petunia Pop. And I love Petunia Pop. Those are the retiring colors. If you would like any of those re-inkers, or if you would like cardstock or anything else in those colors, they are retiring at the end of April, okay? And these are, I know these are hard to see. They're not very dark, but these are the retiring colors, okay? And this is some examples of retiring colors in some pattern paper that they have that will also be retiring. Don't forget about your product of the month that you qualify for at $75 of a paid order. That's before shipping, before tax, and before any coupons or rewards that you might use, okay? And it's called Notes of Spring. Cute little animals that you can put together and make really cute cards with. So don't forget to check the last chance list. It's under your specials tab. These are things that are available only while supplies last. That means they're phasing them out. We're going to be retiring them as soon as they sell them all, and they usually do. And the other bonus is they're usually on sale. A lot of them are on sale, okay? So check that out. My March specials, at $20, you start earning your own Stampin' Rewards, and you can accumulate them for future orders. At $40, you get a quarter pack of DSP in Perennial Lavender, and I was going to pull that DSP if I can find it quickly. Quickly, oh, there it is. Now you're going to get this DSP in a 6x12 format like that. Okay. Sorry about my standing up thing. Okay, you're going to get it in the 6x12 format for this quarter pack of DSP plus your Stampin' Rewards, because the PDF that you can earn lower utilizes this DSP, and you need a long sheet to do it. Okay, and I'll show you the PDF in a minute, a picture of it. But anyway, you get, there's two sides of all the paper. Very pretty. And this is not a retired DSP. It is in the current catalog right now for you. So this is still active. You can order it if you love it like I do. I loved it so much I bought quite a bit of it. That's why you're getting some free. And then the B side, you know, the more neutral sides of the perennial lavender paper. So you get 6x12, okay, and at $50 you still get the quarter pack, the long size. You get 4 card kits, 2 of each design. Let's see if I can find those. Oh, I think I can. And this month, and we're almost at Easter, these are the card kits that we're doing. And you're going to get, if you want masculine, just tell me you want masculine. Otherwise, I'm going to cut Easter flavors, colors, you know. But I do have masculine available, and I have other patterns too besides this one. But you know, mostly I'll do the Easter colors. You'll get 4 cards. There's 2 designs. One design has this square thing on it, and you can use a wobble, and the other one features a circle on it with the bunny. Okay, and they're just really adorable. They're cute. They're easy to make, easy to send out, and I know Easter is next weekend, so we need to. Today's the last day for this particular card kit. Next Tuesday, we will be doing all new card kits for April. Okay. Card kits, design, rewards, $75. You still get the DSP, the perennial lavender. You get the 4 card kits, 2 of each design, and you get my March PDF. And that's what I mean that you can use. You don't have to use this. It looks good in just about anything, but I wrote my card kit and took my pictures using this DSP, this perennial lavender. And you can put anything on the front. A PDF, of course, is, even though you're getting this paper, it's a kind of a separate offer. The PDF is just the PDF. You don't get anything else. You have to have the other stuff to do it. I used the kintsugi here, and one of the circles from Spotlight on Nature. I used Spotlight on Nature here and put a big butterfly on this one, but you can see how it features a big long sheet. It's almost an entire sheet of this paper. I think it's like 11. This is 12 inches, and you cut off like 1/4 of an inch. You get 11 3/4 to make this, but you get on the PDF the directions to do this particular card, and I think that's fun. I think you'll enjoy it, and I know you'll enjoy this paper because it's just gorgeous, And it says the PDF features your perennial lavender. You still get your Stampin' Rewards, and you qualify at that point for the product of the month, which are those little animals. I didn't pull those out, but you've seen them before. Okay, all qualifying orders, all of these, are before tax and shipping, and any coupons are redeemed Stampin' Rewards, of course. Okay, so those are my offers. I will have new offers, different offers next month that I have some really great ideas for that I want to share with you. So today we are going to start with the hard card first. We'll do that and the easy card second. So you can come back and catch the easy card if you don't have time for everything today. The Cute as a Bug Spanner card is just adorable. I think you will just love it. Let me show you one of them, and then I'll show you some more later. But this is one that I made. So it's a spanner card, and they always have something that spans right here, and we're going to be using a window sheet on ours, okay, because we want to see the message underneath, okay, the greeting. And so we're going to cut it, and then it has another layer where you have a focal point here, and you put a focal point here, and then the inside where you can stamp, write, whatever you would like, okay? So that is what we're going to be making today, and it's just adorable. We're going to make another bug one, but it's going to be a little bit different, okay? And then I'll share some other things with you about these cards. I do have all of the measurements and things that you might need to know how to make this card. If you're listening to me, sorry, my face is over here on the corner. I have that linked below me if you're on YouTube, and above me if you're on Facebook. Now, this card kit is going to feature the sweet bugs, and I have the dies, and I have the stamps. I didn't use a lot of dies on this one. I have on some other cards I've made. I'll share with you. I just opted because I did cut some stuff out to put as a focal point here, but I found that it didn't set as well as something as easy as a circle. So I used some stylish shapes around the black part, and then I used a 2-inch circle punch, which is just a little bit smaller, to cut out something for my focal point on the front of my card. And you have to make sure that you're putting your dimensionals just on this one side, and we'll talk about that as we go, okay? So I didn't use a lot of stuff because in the paper they have these great easy peasy to use sheets that have these scenes on them. And actually today I'm using this scene, and I just cut it down to be the right size. And then on the other side they have some great neutral stuff that goes really nicely to make edges on them. This is a great scene. You could turn this one into a great scene by die cutting and putting some of the bugs in there. But they have a whole couple of sheets of this in the paper, and the paper I think is just like super delightful. I have a whole package. I don't really want to open it, but oops. You can see some of it here as I spill. But they have, this is beautiful. I used some of this today, I think. And then they have that on the back. Then they have all these bugs, and these bugs have dies to cut them out. And that's how you would set a scene on like the red and white paper that I just showed you. You would cut out some of these bugs and set a scene. Then you have this one. Now some of these don't have dies. You'd have to circle punch them or fussy cut them. That one has that pattern on the back. Now this one also makes great scenes. I've cut out this one on a card on the right side and used that because that was just a really wonderful little scene on that one. And then that has a very neutral side with some petal pink on it. And let's see, I think we looked at that one. already. Yep, and we looked at that one. And this is actually one of my favorites. I love these mushrooms, and they make beautiful backgrounds, they make beautiful foregrounds. These are gorgeous little mushrooms, just gorgeous. And then that's where some of your red and white is too. So that's some of your paper that you get in this fabulous pack. And you can see I've been working on a couple other cards trying to figure out what I wanted to do before I decided on that Spanner card. And I cut out some bugs and things, and I used that mushroom as a background paper. This is one of the squares that are on that one sheet with the bottom cut on the other side, and I just put one of our arches and put this bug on a wobble. I made my grandson something similar to that for his birthday. It was a little more involved, and I think I shared that with you guys earlier. So that's the designer series paper. You're also going to use today, we're gonna on one of the cards, not the one we're gonna do today, but I'll show you another one where I used plain paper on the edges, and I used the Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder on that one. And this is just like a really, really cute folder. Let me grab a piece of paper and maybe you can see a little bit better on this. There you go. This is some mossy meadow. It's hard to see on these. Now remember, when you use an embossing folder, you always want to put the folded edge in first in your embosser, and the top is wherever the Stampin' Up! Logo is. So you can see it a little bit better. You can see the pattern of the daisies all over, and this is a 3D one, and I'll show you that in a minute. That the sandwich to use for that. So I pulled my sandwich stuff out today to show you. So that's Lazy Daisy. Stylish Shapes. I used, like I said, I pulled, when I was making my focal point, I used my 2-inch circle punch for the image, and then behind it I wanted some black. I have this on Do Not Disturb, and it's disturbing me. Interesting. 1, 2, 3. That's 1. Might have said 4. I think it's 3. Number 3 is the one I'm going to use, I think. I'll check that. Let me see. I have it right here. That was 3 or 4. I just want it to be a little bit, well, maybe it is 4. Oh, yep, 3 is too big, so it must be this one. That looks too small. Maybe I don't have the right one pulled out. It's got to be that one. It's got to be number 3. Okay, because those are all there. Okay, so it must be number 3. I'll go back and check that before I post this. By the way, this is a pre-recorded video, okay? So Stylish Shapes, and you use the circles to make the circle that goes behind the image that you put on the front. Okay, so those are some of the things you need. Oh, you need window sheets. Now, you can buy window sheets. I have a package of window sheets, a big package of, you get 2 sheets for, I think, right now, $5. You know, it's pretty reasonable. But, do you know that you have lots of window sheets, probably, if you have stamp sets? And I just made a little folder, and I just gather my window sheets, and I put them in this folder, and I cut them up, and I use them when I need window sheets. And I usually need to clean them with some Windex or something, but because they're not as pristine as the window sheets that you purchase, but they can be made to look pretty darn good, and they're much less expensive because they came with your stamp set. So I just have a folder that I keep mine in. Okay, so those are some of the things that we're going to be utilizing today. Alrighty, and we're going to be making a card very similar to this, a little bit different pattern. This is the one with the little guy sitting on the stump, and there's a couple of the ants that were showing and a butterfly that's showing, but I had to make it a certain size, so I had to cut it down, and I had to pick strategically where I wanted that to be. So I'm going to take that over there for a moment, and I'm going to share the sizes. Now the size, oh, you need, I use these Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. I put some ladybugs on mine here, and I put some clear dots. They're like little dewdrops on my mushrooms that I had. So those were helpful too. They come with the suite, or you can buy them separately, whatever you want. Okay, so sweet bugs, cute as a bug. Like I said, all of this is linked. It looks like a lot. I mean, it kind of is a lot, but it goes pretty quick. Okay, so I decided, first I decide on what DSP I'm going to put in that center spot right there. And it is 2 3/4 by 4, okay? And like I said, I have all these linked below for you, so you can find them easily. Trying to get these in a good spot. Then behind all my DSPs today, I have black, because there's black in the pictures usually, and I just thought it really made it pop to have the black. So the black that goes behind this DSP is 2 7/8, just a little bit bigger, by 4 1/8, and it's going to go like this, and it's going to go in the center. Alrighty. Then on the front, this is the DSP I chose for the front, and it's 1 inch by 4 inches, cut 2, because you're going to have one on each side. Okay, on the back were some bugs, but on this side was the more neutral pattern, which is what I wanted on either side of this. And I cut some black that goes on the front. It's 1 1/8 by 4 1/8, and so these are going to get stuck on here, and they'll go on either side of that, just like that. Okay, save that. Now for my greeting, I have that backed in black too. This is 1 1/8 by 2 7/8, and then the greeting itself is on white, and that is 1 by 2 3/4, just a smidge smaller, and that's going to go down at the bottom. Okay, and put a greeting down there. I have my window sheet that I cut just for my stamps that I got. It's 1 1/4 by 5 1/2, and the 5 1/2, every time I made the card, was just a smidge long. It's clear and it's easy to cut off. So I mean, you can make it a little shorter if you want, because you don't exactly need to have that whole 5 1/2 for the spanner part, but that was the direction, so I just kept making that. So that's your window sheet. I'm going to keep that sticky on there because it's hard to see and it gets lost. So here's my black, and I had 2 choices. I cut out the butterfly is one choice for my and I have a butterfly here, and I could have a butterfly here, but I did cut out, and maybe I will find it, the other choice that we had, not in there. Well, maybe it will magically appear. Now on the inside, I'm also going to have edges on the inside. I'm going to have a piece of white on the inside, okay? And this is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to put edges on here, but of course we're going to put black underneath those. The black is 1 1/8 by 4, and you cut 2, and the DSP is 1 by 3 7/8, all linked below for your directions, okay, if you want to make this card. And I love this card. I made several of them and sent some of them out already, and I have a few to share with you. So those go on either side, and you stamp this. It goes inside the card, okay? All right, so the card itself, I decided to go with very vanilla. I could not decide. I wanted a lighter green, but we just don't have this light of a green to use. So you could use Old Olive, and it looks okay. Old Olive looks okay. You could pull in Cajun Craze if you wanted, because there's a little bit of Cajun Craze in here, but there's none in here. But there's very vanilla back here, and this kind of goes with very vanilla. So I decided on a very vanilla card. Oh, there's my other one. Ha! Look at that. We found it. Lift something up, and you find it. Okay, I did mushrooms, and I'm probably going to use the mushrooms because I already have a butterfly there. So I think I'll just lay that right there and put my butterfly up here, because that's what I'm probably going to use. And like I said, everything is backed in black, so it looks really good. Your card base, very vanilla, or whatever color you decide to make your card. 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. Score it at 4 1/4. Then you're going to cut. You're going to measure from the edge in 1 1/4 inches, and you're going to cut up to the score line with your trimmer, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that. I have one already done, just in case I mess up and don't do it right, because there is a little bit of tricky measuring here. I'm going to set some of this. This is the front. This is the inside. There's my window sheet. We're going to try to keep track of that window sheet so I don't have to cut another one. Okay. So what I mean is either side of this can be the top of your card, where you're going to cut. You see how I cut I cut the middle out, and to make my spanner like that. That's what we're going to do to cut our spanner. Okay, so I measure over 1 1/4 inches from the edge, and I already have a score mark at 4 1/4, but I'm also going to be using my trimmer because this has 4 1/4 on it, and I want to just lift this up carefully, place my blade right on 4 1/4, because there's a little mark on here. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see it on your own trimmer. And this is 1 1/4, and I'm going to start there and slip down just like that. There, that made it just right. Okay, now I'm going to flip it. I'm going to move this to 1 1/4 again, but I'm cutting on this side because this is where my other one is cut. And I still have 4 1/4, of course, on my blade and on my trimmer, and I match that up, and I just go straight down. Whew, look at that. I got it. I didn't even need the extra one. Miracle of miracles. Now this is going to go underneath, and this is going to go on top, okay? I'm going to show you how that goes. Okay, so I have all these pieces and parts cut and ready to go, and I have some glue, very little glue. There's more glue in this one. This one feels a little fuller. Yep. Okay, so we're going to make our edges first, and I am just going to go right down the middle because I don't want my glue to squish out the sides. So I'm just going to go right down the middle. It's going to stick, and these are my panels or edges that are going to go on my little flippy flops right here. And I know flippy flops is a very technical stamping word, but that's what we've got today is flippy flops. I'm going to go right down the middle again, and I'm going to put this on the back. I'm going to center that with, and I'm going to add these again. Again, I'm just going to down the center, little squiggle, down the center, little squiggle. Okay. Now, one thing you have to be mindful of is one thing you need. Tear and tape is going to work a lot better with that window sheet than glue. Glue and window sheets do not mix. Okay. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. So I'm going to center these on my panel, flipping up edges like that. And on this one, on my other side, my right side, my left side, on my panels. So now I have my two panels just like this. Okay, I'm going to flip those up because this part is going to flip under the spanner part. It's going to go under the spanner part. So I'm just going to, I just noticed that this is the cutest little picture. I should have moved it down because my greeting is going to cover up some of this adorable bugs having lunch outside on a rock. Darn it. Didn't notice that before. Put some squiggles on here. And I'm going to back this in black. Okay. And that goes on my middle panel that I have. And that fits pretty tight on here, side to side, pretty tight. There's a little room at the bottom and the top. We're going to move it up to the top a little bit more because this is going to go down here. And like I said, it's going to cover up some of my adorable bugs, but that is what it is, right? So I am going to write, I thought I pulled out what I wanted, but I might not have pulled out what I wanted. So I'm going to go back to my sweet bugs because I want one of these shorter messages on here, and I think hello friend almost fits, but I think love you lots fits. or Spread Joy? Let's do Spread Joy. I know that fits. Okay. And I stamped everything in black because I had everything backed in black. So I thought that would look okay to stamp all my words in black today. And I need a sip of my tea, my Mama Bear mug. And it's already getting cold, darn it. Anyway, okay. Spread Joy. And I'm just going to bring out a little mat here. And a little practice paper here. And these are our old ink pads that flip and slide, and you do have to be careful that you're not getting ink on your fingers, which I do all the time, get ink on my fingers. So I know this one fits because I've used it before. So I'm just going to do a practice swing here. Tap, tap, tap. And I'm gonna press firmly, but I'm not gonna press really hard. But I'm gonna let that kind of soak in for just a minute. That's my Spread Joy. Not good. Not good at all. We have two sides. Practice, it looks great. Spread Joy. We won't hold it as long. Looks better. Okay, I held it too long. I want to push this back. I am going to use it again, but I'm going to close it up for just a second. And my Stampin' Scrub is buried, so I'm going to use a baby wipe. I don't like to use them very much, but on the stamps, but such is life right now. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over to the bad side where I had squiggles, and I'm just going to put some more glue. I use glue a lot, not exclusively, but I use it a lot because it slips and slides, and that is very beneficial to me, to be able to slip and slide things. And I'm going to take my backing and I'm going to slip this into place. Try to get it even, you know. Good. And a little more squiggle of glue. And it goes right down at the bottom, and it fits exactly. I'm just going to scoot it all the way down. It'll go as low as it'll go. I got my Spread Joy. Now I'm going to bring in my spanner, which is 1 1/4 by 5, and I'm going to turn these back to the front for a moment. Well, no, I'm going to turn them this way because I'm going to use my tear and tape. And like I said, this works a lot better with a window sheet type of situation than glue does. I mean, glue will glue it down, but it tends to smear all over the place, and you almost cannot, no matter what you use on it, get glue off of a window sheet. You can take your Windex, you can take your whatever you're going to use, your 409, I don't know, and it is basically not going to come up. Now I'm putting 2 little pieces on the underneath side because that's where I want my window sheet to attach. So and once you take this off, the paper backing off, it is pretty clear and you really don't see it. It works pretty good. That one's probably too long. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut some of that off. Get my sticky scissors and just cut. that little piece of tear and tape off. And of course it wants to stick to me now. Okay, so I take like the edge of my scissors or something, the rounded end, and I press this down really good because I really want it to stick. It's double-sided, and I'm going to tear that paper off so I can stick my window sheet on to it. And I have my take your pick tool, and I usually start in the middle because it's a little easier to start getting the paper up. And you can see that once the paper comes up, it's pretty darn clear. It's not a big mess, and it's not going to move like glue will slip. I mean, and sometimes we want our glue to slip because that's an advantage with doing certain things, but not with this. So I'm just going to turn this upside down because I want this to be square with the bottom. So I'm going to square it up on this one side, and I know it's going to be just a smidge long on my other side. Oh, it's not bad. That was not bad. So can you see the reflection of the window sheet? So when this pushes down, you can see the message through it, and you can flip it up, and you see this one, and then you flip that up, and we're going to have our third layer. So this is a 3-layer spanner card that we're making today. So the last part is my underneath part, and this is the inside. I decided on white. I know this is very vanilla, but there is some white out here, and I wanted something a little different. So I'm going to put, it's 5 1/4 by 4, again, linked below. I am going to write, let's see, we have spread joy. How about you make the world a better place? I love that one. You make the world a better place. That can be just like anything, right? Just anything. And I'm going to stamp that before I put those on. And I'm going back to my black. I'm going to put this in the center because I'm going to have those two edges right on the right and the left. I'm going to go back to my black, give it a press, give it a better press. There we go. Okay, that's not bad. Hope I can do that perfectly again. And that's another reason not to glue those on first in case I need to use the other side. So, got just a little smudge there. Take that off. And so this could be a thank you card. Oh, phew, good. You make the world a better place. Turned out great. Now, if I wanted to, I could add a pretty little bug or bugs on here, just to add to the interest. And I think I like this one. This little bug. I think I'm going to put him down there. Dum 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 dum. Let's see. Take that one off for a minute. Put my bug on. Now you could color this bug with your Stampin' Blends and make him look ever so cute. Yeah. You make the world a better place. He's just reading a book. Tomorrow one of our grandsons is going to come and stay with us because it's spring break and his mom has to work, so he's going to spend a couple days with us this week, and I just have all sorts of fun stuff planned for him because he's way too tied to that iPad thing, you know, and Grandma That's not my jam. Oh, I hope I didn't put that over too far. I bet I did. Anyway, yeah, I think I did. Dang it. I'm going to cover up some of my bug. Should have thought that out. I just love putting images on there, though. It's my favorite. I could do it over on the other side. That's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to cover up that bug. I just don't want to cover up the bug. So flipping it over, even though I stamped good, let's hope I stamp well. I don't stamp good, I stamp well. Don't drop things. Okay, I'm going to stamp the same message, you make the world a better place, but I'm going to have to leave off my bug unless I put him directly underneath. Okay, because I need room for my sides. Okay, good. Better. We'll think about the bug and see what we might need. So these same trick, little squiggles of glue, so you don't go too close to the edges and have it squirt out. You don't want that. Put it on the black. Now this one, it's kind of directional. Like the strawberry's going down, but the blackberries are going the other direction. So, you know, it's kind of up to you how you want to do that. So this will make the inside, you know, a little snazzier, a little more juice to it, and surprise when the person opens it. I'm going to move my paper and go back to my silicone in case I get glue on something. Silicone's great for that because it rolls right off. These fit exactly on here. Make sure. I have them on, not sticking over the edges. That's what I want. I think I'll do this. Yeah, I'm going to leave the bug off, actually, because now that I have this decorative paper on here, the DSP, I think that looks okay. And I liked the bug. In fact, I could stamp it off and put it in the middle, maybe, but I think I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so now I go back to my main card, and I'm going to use just some Stampin' Seal on the back, because I like this for writing. It's not quite as bumpy. The one thing about glue, if you put it underneath where you're going to write and you get too much, it will get lumpy. And this centers on here, so you want it a nice edge, and don't get it too close to the fold, so the fold will still fold down nicely for you. And so that's our inside, and that's our outside. And now we're going to put the mushroom as one of our focal points, and we'll put on some little doodads here and there. This can be glued right onto the black. but it's the black we have to be really careful with because we're going to put dimensionals on it. To only put dimensionals, and this has a very skinny border, this 2-inch circle on the stylish shape circle has a very skinny border, but when you put it on, it really pops like this. Okay, so that's why I didn't want the butterfly and the butterfly on here. So I'm gonna take just one of my little stickies and I'm gonna put it on this side because I don't want to go over that edge. Let me straighten that up. Okay, because I'm going to turn it, but there we go. Okay, so I have my dimensionals. I would use regular dimensionals on this. I'm going to use 3 in a kind of a diamond pattern and put 1, 2, 3, and I hope to shout. Those will not show. Let me see. Put them on here. Yeah, see, I don't want them to show on my clear part of my card because then it will stick to that. There's nothing on this center. There's just the sheet is down here. There's nothing right there. So I want to be careful. I'm going to let it drip over a little bit on that edge. Check it before I press it down. And like that. Now I'm going to bring in these beautiful epoxy, Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. And I'm going to give him a couple of dewdrops. Up here. Let me put a few dewdrops. Like it was maybe raining or something. Come on, you guys. Will this work? Yes. Okay, so I put 3 dewdrops, and I'm going to put a couple of I swear I'm the only person in the whole world that has trouble with this blue stuff. It works when it works, which is great. Getting this guy off is he's kind of big. I think that's part of the problem. Let's see if I can bend the paper and get it. Yeah, I can bend the paper. Put him on there, and I'm going to put just a couple little bugs, ladybugs, over here. Again, visual interest, and I've got an odd number of embellishments. I got 5, so I got 3 over here, and I got 2 over here. Maybe they're both crawling up. Maybe that's what they're doing. Yes, that's better. Okay, so got my little dots on there. So that is a spanner card, and I think it is so cute, and it's so easy when you use these patterns that are already, the whole scene's already set, and I think you get a couple pages of those. So that is just great, and then you use some more DSP to brighten it up. You open it again, that's where you can sign, and so you have 3 layers. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that adorable? I love this paper. I didn't think I would like it because I'm typically a flower girl when it comes to making cards a lot, and whimsy cards don't always appeal to me, but I usually buy maybe, 1 whimsy set each time because I do make cards for my grandkids. So I usually try to do that, and this set has been such a surprise to me, that I liked it so much that I liked not only the background papers and the cutouts and the bugs and everything. I like it all, and I hope you try it. I hope you try this whole set. It's wonderful, and it's very, very versatile. You can turn this card, you can use any kind of DSP on this card. It doesn't matter, and it will turn out well. I gotta turn my heater off. I think I finally got warm. I did finally get warm. Yep. Switching to ice water now. It's one thing or another, right? Okay. So this other card's really quick, and I think you'll like it because, like I said, it's a very batchable card, and I have the measurements underneath me. I'm going to have to look at them myself. They're not hard. But this is my easy peasy bonus batchable splatter card. And like I said, I had to make, didn't have to make, but I wanted to make some thank you cards for friends that have been dropping food off for us so that Sue doesn't have to do as much cooking, which, believe me, is winner chicken dinner around here. And I have a couple of different suggestions on how to make these cards. You can make them like this, or you can make them like this. Now, what you need is you need a splatter stamp. And I'm not sure, I did not look to see if we currently have a splatter stamp. But what I did find in my stash is I have, because I don't get rid of stuff, and that's my problem, which I need to start doing. Anyway, I went back to Gorgeous Sleeves and I picked out a splatter stamp, and it wasn't quite big enough, so I found out I had to stamp a few times to make it big enough, and then I was stamping thank you so much, but you can go back to our Fabulous Sayings, which was our product of the month a couple months ago. Happy birthday, you're on my mind, thank you, sending love, hello, you can do anything, and then some things that kind of go along with these others. So something like that, you need some greetings of some kind, just general greetings. What do you need? Do you need happy birthday? I put happy birthday on this one, and I stamped this one differently because I'm going to show you, if you don't have a splatter stamp, I'm going to show you how to do this, because I know you have this. I'll show you the little trick for that. These are the pieces and parts that you need. Very, very simple. So this is just 8.5 white by 5.5, folded in half at 4 1/4. That's your base. Okay, easy, right? That's your base. Turn some of this in the garbage. Get a new one. Okay. Then you need a black, because I'm going to stamp in black again. I'm going to keep it simple. And you need a black that is, let's see, this is 5.5. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. 5 1/4 by 4. All right? Pretty sure. Let me look. Yes, 5 1/4 by 4. Okay? And then you need 2 pieces for one for the outside, one for the inside, and these need to be 3 3/4 by 5. So one for the outside and one for the inside. And I just did You Make the World a Better Place again, and that's going to go on the inside. All right. So how do you do this? Simple, simple, simple. You take your splatter stamps, and I picked 3 colors, and I use the same 3 colors all the time that I did this. I started with Melon Mambo, I had Daffodil Delight, and Azure Afternoon, and I thought those 3 went together really well. If you want a different theme, I mean, absolutely go for it. Now, to make this one, if you don't have a splatter stamp, this is what you need. You need a little Ziploc bag, you need a paper towel that's crumpled up, and you need a little rubber band to keep it on there, and you need a baby wipe to keep cleaning it off when you change colors, okay? And that's how I made this one. Now I cut a shape. It's out of one of our stuff. Can I remember? No. But I did use one of these little things that cut a straight hole so you can put a ribbon through. And I put a ribbon through the back and taped it on the back, and then I tied a bow and stuck it on there because I thought this one was a little plainer. I mean, I could put some gems and stuff on here, which I might do still. But all I did was I dipped it in my colors, and I always started with yellow in the center. So I would dip it in yellow, and then I would just press it down, okay? Wipe it off with my baby wipe, and then I dipped it in pink, and I did that side, wiped it off with my baby wipe, and then I dipped it in Azure Afternoon. Tap, tap, tap. You tap gently, okay? Because you want it, if you're using this method because you don't have a splatter stamp, you don't want it, you want it to be kind of abstract, okay? You're not looking for something perfect. You're looking for something abstract. And then I thought adding the ribbon to this one added a little extra bonus to it. And then I would attach that. Like you can see, I can still attach that to my basic white and have a perfectly great card. The one I'm going to make for you, I'm going to use my splatter stamp on that one. I'm not going to use this one because this works really, really, really good. So let's set this right over here. Like I said, I always started in the middle, and I discovered that one stamp wasn't enough. I wanted it a little bit bigger because I want it to be a nice background, and I want yellow in the middle in between my two brighter colors. So I'm starting with my Daffodil Delight. Gonna get my baby wipe up here. And I'm gonna just start stamping. This is a splatter stamp, very abstract. Turn it either way until you get it the way you like it. Okay, I think I want more up there. Okay, great. Okay. So I need my baby wipe again. And I'm going to wipe this off. Now you want to, we're going to emboss this. But you have to stamp first. You have to stamp first before you emboss, okay? So there's my yellow, my Daffodil Delight. I've still got my splatter stamp. I wiped it off. I'm going to stamp with Melon Mambo now. Nice bright pink, like this color. And I'm going to put it right next to it. It's going to drip just a smidge into that yellow. It's okay, because this is abstract. Okay, now I've got my Melon Mambo. Very easy. Wipe it off. And now I'll do my Azure Afternoon. I'll stamp a greeting. And I'm just going to move it over here. And I'm going to touch these places. I'm going to touch that a little bit because I got a smudge right there. So I'm just going to let that just kind of float around over there. Okay. And that's all I need to do for that. That's my background, done. And that's on a piece of 3 3/4 by 5. Well, it's 5 this way and 3 3/4 that way. So now this one says happy birthday. I'm going to still do thank you because I still need thank yous. And I'm just going to go back to my black because that's just going to be making everything easy. If I keep everything consistent, like when I'm batching cards, I do all one step at one time, you know, for like a bunch of cards. And I would get everything cut, and then I would do my, all this stamping background, and then I would do all of my words, and then I would start putting it together. So I'm going to put thank you right there. I'm not sure if that's straight. Okay, pretty good. I might use my stamp positioner actually with that to get that darker, because then I could stamp it a few times. Okay, now I would grab my folder that I shared with you earlier, because I had that earlier, my Lazy Daisy, there it is. Lazy Daisy, I like this one, it looks good on this. And this is 3D embossing folder, so remember, stamp first, don't glue it together yet. Put it in whatever folder you want to use. I like the Lazy Daisy, it worked really well. And the fold is going to go in first, Stampin' Up! Logo is going to go on the outside so that it is embossed and not debossed. Now, when you do your sandwich, it tells you exactly what you need to cut to do a regular embossing folder or a 3D embossing folder. And this, we're going to do 3D, so we just need the thick plate. You put the 3D folder on here, and you put the gray plate on. You don't need the 2 or the 3s at all, okay? Those are for cutting or embossing a regular folder. And like I said, it's all on the instructions on that first plate. And I'm going to probably shake the table when I do this. See all my little extra stickies that I have around here. So I have that sandwich in there, and I'm going to give it a shove a little bit. I need to make sure that, okay, yeah, I am putting it in right, because I want that folded edge in first. And it cranks through really pretty easily as I'm starting to struggle. Oh, there it goes. You know, it might make a little click. Perfectly natural. The click is perfectly natural. Whether you're cutting, whether you're embossing, no matter what you're doing on there. So I open this up, and now I have the pretty simple ink, but I also have it embossed with that Lazy Daisy, and that just makes it a tad bit, you know, step it up a little bit, make it a little nicer. Little somebody that's never seen it before, you know, when they get one of these cards, they always ask me, how do you do that? And I said, oh, well, it's pure Stampin' Magic is what it is, I'm telling you. And so I'm gonna definitely, since this is embossed, and I have these little grooves and things, and I want this to really stick pretty good, I'm gonna put quite a bit of glue on here. I'm not gonna use Stampin' Seal or even Stampin' Seal Plus on here. And I'm going to center this. Better than that, hopefully. Sometimes it's just a matter of manipulating. Okay, that's all I need to do to that. And I will, you know, of course, because we can, put this on some dimensionals that we had like moments ago. Literally, we had dimensionals. There's some more. Okay. Oh, there they are. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. And do I have my magic tweezers? Because there they are. Until you're right in front of me. So I'm just going to put corners and center so it doesn't sag. But I am going to pop this up. And I'm going to go back to my card base, my white card base. I'm going to put this on right side up, not upside down, because, you know, people always laugh when I get one of my upside down cards. My good friend Darrell, she used to send me cards, and she painted hers. They were beautiful. And one time she sent me one that was upside down. She said, I worked so hard on this, I just had to send it because I liked it so much for you. And I still have that card because I treasure that. Anyways, there's my card. And on the inside, like I said, since I'm going to be writing on this, I am going to use some Stampin' Seal. I just put a few pieces on here. This will be very flat and very easy to write on. And I hope I pulled out some dots. So this is 3 3/4 by 5/2. I'm gonna put that in the center. So I would add some pretty gems on here, and I think I wanted clear ones. Now I could color these. If I wanted to with alcohol markers. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now, but these color really, really well, and they look like super pretty. So I'm just going to put 3 up there in a little triangle shape, and boom, you can make these cards, make them all day, and get a ton of cards. Thank you cards, birthday cards, thinking of you cards, anything you want to stamp on there. Okay, very simple, very easy. This is my splatter card, but remember, if you don't have a splatter stamp, you can still do this magic little technique, and still make it look, you know, really great with the same idea. It's not going to be splatter, but it's going to be an abstract print where you just use paper towel, Ziploc bag, a rubber band to hold it, and you do have to wipe it off each time you do that. Now you can use just a paper towel, but you'll have to keep turning it or get a new paper towel because you can't wipe that off. But it does give you a different texture than the plastic bag does, if you want to try that. Okay, so that is my last card that I have for us today. Let me turn us up. There we go. All right. Thank you for joining me today. Next week is the beginning of April. The beginning of April. I can't believe it. It's my girls' birthday. They're 40 years old on Thursday. I can't believe it. I went and spent a little too much money, but I wanted them to have something they would remember for their 40th birthday. Anyway, we're going to do card kits next month. We're going to do the April card kits, and they're really cute. There's 2 different designs. You get 4 card kits, 2 different designs, and I do send all that stuff for you for your qualifying order, which I'll explain next week. It's the same type of thing, And I think I've got some paper to go with it. Yeah, I think I do. And so we'll be sharing all that kind of stuff with you next week. So please join me next week, and we will make card kits, and we'll have some more fun. Okay, thank you for staying today through 2 cards. That was delightful. We'll talk to you next week.